Hey folks, Wish SE up here in New Hampshire today, having a great time shooting a bunch of different guns. Wanted to do a quick side-by-side comparison of two guns that have been used by the United States military now for, the last 30 years or so. They are the Beretta M9, FS 92, as many of you civilians know it, and the SIG 226. Both of these guns, in my mind, are certainly nice, solid, durable guns, very well made, look nice. A couple of major differences between them, though, and certainly something to think about depending on your mission, what you're planning to use a handgun for. For 9mm handguns, both are fairly large, and you don't have to get a gun that's quite this big. The upside of a large gun, of course, is it mitigates some of the recoil due to its weight. So you'll note that the Beretta, the 92 FS M9, is slightly larger than the SIG in terms of its length. Its frame and the actual frame up here that fits the slide has the sights as part of that. So your front sight, whatever it is a part of the gun. That to me is not something I'm a big fan of because many of us like to swap out our sights and go with something different. The SIG, on the other hand, you can drift out either your front or rear sight and replace those. In this case, this is a model 226 that was a police trade that I bought, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, and it's really in excellent shape. It's a little loose, well worn, but certainly has been a solid performer from my end. The other thing, difference between the two guns is the fact that the SIG is pretty simplistic. There is no external safety. There is a decocking mechanism, which is right here, and that allows you, of course, if you've been shooting and you want to decock the gun, right? It's this mechanism right here, and that just decocks the hammer. And other than that, like a revolver, the concept with this is that you're going to have to press through a very long double action pull. And once that pull happens, obviously the slide is going to reciprocate, and when that happens, you're back into a single action mode. And the SIG single action mode is really nice, I have to say. It's maybe 3 pounds or something, and it feels very good. The trigger itself, while heavy, is very steady all the way back. And so as you're pressing your shot, if you practice this and you come up to point, you're pressing through your shot and you're deliberate about it. It's very easy to get used to. It does take practice transitioning between double action to single action, which is one reason why I'm more of a fan of striker-fired guns. The Beretta, also double action, so its first shot is a long, heavy double action pull. And once it's in a single action mode, its trigger, to me, is not as nice as the SIG's. That's a subjective feeling, so, pros and cons, but maybe I'm more used to the SIG, so the SIG feels better to me. Like the sights on the SIG much better, much larger sights, a block sight which allows you to use, do one-hand malfunction clearance drills. If you have to get that front sight against something, you can press it down and open it. The Beretta has a very narrow channel, also very sharp. So as you're maybe working the action of the gun and just cycling around, as you're bringing your hand across, it's really digging into your hand, so I'm not a fan of that. The other thing with the Beretta is its decocking mechanism up here is such that most people will operate it with their other hand or coming across to decock the gun. So when you decock the gun, that puts it into a safe mode, which makes the trigger inoperable. And it is not natural. So if I had the gun, with a round chambered, let's say it's condition 1 round chambered, I've got a magazine in there, and I want to use this, I've got to bring my safety up and off. And that is counterintuitive to what I do when I do run an AR or run a 1911, when I'm taking a safety off, I'm bringing it down on a 1911 and down with an M4. So it's counterintuitive to me, and I also question, you know, the need for a safety on a gun like this after the whole point of that is in fact the double action trigger, similar to a revolver. If you're going to have to press through that, that is your safe. So, sights, trigger, ease of design with the decocking, all thumbs up in my mind. Edge goes to the SIG 226. Ergonomics, I'd say, are kind of the same. Both are big. Both are really big in the hands. And for people who shoot striker-fired guns like myself, you know, grew up on Glocks and grew up on M&Ps or the XDs, those guns just feel not as big and wide and heavy to me. And I've got small hands. So you can make some adjustments. SIG does sell, you know, different grips that you can change that out to make it a little narrower. And for those, I've had some people that shoot SIGs and they say that makes a big difference. In terms of fit and finish, both have good quality fit and finish. Both are, again, solid performers, nice, stable, heavy guns. The gun from the SIG with the Mark 25, I have a friend who was in NSW for a long time, and when he shoots this gun, because he's fired, you know, hundreds of thousands of rounds through it, that double action trigger to single action doesn't bother him at all. I mean, he's just pressing through that trigger. As he brings it up, the trigger breaks and he's right back into that second shot in the single action. And all of his groups, of course, if you're a special operator and you get to practice a lot on the dime of the taxpayer, you're obviously going to get quite proficient at that. So, subjective, my feeling, I like the SIG a little better. Certainly, I think the Beretta is one to have from a collector's standpoint. It's a beautiful gun to look at. It certainly has nice lines, the finish is good, and it's just kind of the iconic military pistol that many people have both grown up with and our men and women service folks have gotten used to. So we're going to actually do a little bit of shooting with this. I'm going to tie in some shooting that we did the other day with these two pistols, give you an opportunity to see that both are good, both worked well. Any of the accuracy related to these two guns really have to do with me just not shooting them. I generally shoot striker-fired guns, and so these triggers are just not something I'm used to. And while I can get used to it, it's just a lot of work switching back and forth. So beware of the man with only one gun who practices a lot, because transitioning between multiple triggers and multiple guns can you know, lessen your control of that trigger and your overall performance. So enough of my talking. Let's get to some of the shooting videos that we did of these two guns. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video or any of the videos that we produce, please click the thumbs up icon. Please invite your friends and family to join the channel. Thanks again for watching. Let's get to the range. So I'm going to fire, I don't know, 5-10 rounds. I'm firing in a single action mode of the Beretta here. We're firing a center mass target. I'm giving you this perspective so you can see the recoil. I'm shooting NATO spec ammunition, the Ranger 124 plus P or NATO spec ammunition, which is the gun is designed around. We're going to shoot that, and then we're going to shoot the SIG so you can see from this side, that perspective, what the gun looks like as it's being shot. Had no problem. You know, one nice thing about a big gun is long sight radius, also nice and heavy. Okay, we're doing the same thing now with the SIG 226. So I'm just trying to shoot reasonably quick, keep them all in a center mass area. Here we go. Need to replace the followers on this magazine.
So that's our Beretta group on the top, our SIG group on the bottom, threw one out in that string, but you can see both were accurate, good, solid hits. I'm now going to do some precision shooting at 10 yards. About 10 yards away here, we shoot at number 2 with our SIG 226. So 10 yards away, group looks to be about 2 inches kind of end to end, so maybe an inch or so. Again, not bad. I'm shooting the Winchester 124 ammo. I'm 10 yards away. Trying the same thing now with the Beretta. 10 yards away, aiming at number 1. Got a little bit better group, it looks like, with our Beretta. Again, 10 yards away, shooting the Winchester ball ammo, the 124 NATO. Well, there you have it, folks. 2 very fine service pistols. The Beretta M9, SIG 226, used by NSW, our SEALs, for a number of years. Both are excellent. From a personal standpoint, I prefer the 226. Just feels better in my hand. I like the trigger better. I like that it doesn't have a lot of extraneous stuff up at the top of the slide, the safety, decocking mechanism. The one slight edge I would give to the Beretta is the fact that it's got a very long slide stop, so it's very easy to hit that and actuate the slide coming forward. Other than that, I think that either one of these would do well in terms of serving a citizen in terms of self-defense or home defense. Both are reliable, both are accurate, and both are easy to shoot, and finally, both are fun to shoot. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up icon, share it with your friends and family, and finally, and most importantly, as always, stay safe.